In this episode, I am making the all-loved chocolate chip cookie using half the sugar stated in traditional recipes. So stay tuned if you'd like to see what happens, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm using a recipe by Tasty, which has over 30 million views on YouTube by the way, and some tips from Babish, who I love watching, and I'm throwing in a few tricks of my own that I have learned over the years. I'll start by making brown butter, which is basically like making ghee. You heat the butter until you get brown solids at the bottom of the pan. Now, over the years, I've made a lot of ghee, and all recipes say to use unsalted butter, but I find that the ghee that I make from salted butter actually smells a lot sweeter, nuttier, and it tastes better. So I'm using salted butter here. And once it's done, I'm going to pop it in the fridge to harden up a bit, as that's what Babish does. While it's hardening, I'm going to go prep my dry ingredients. I'm using half the amount of dark brown and white sugar as stated in the recipe, and I'm also going to use slightly less chocolate too. I'm using a mix of bread flour and plain flour, as apparently this gives a chewier cookie. I'm going to add in coffee powder, but Babish also adds cinnamon powder to his recipe, so I've decided to add in both and see what happens. Hopefully it'll add a layer of complexity to the taste and make it more delicious. The recipe also uses 1 egg and 1 yolk, but since I've scaled down my recipe, I might just use 1 egg. This is a test recipe, and have you seen the price of butter these days? My gosh, it's probably cheaper to buy the cow. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to cream together the butter, sugar, eggs and vanilla. So here's my second tip, and it's something I've been doing for years now. It's to let the mixture rest in between mixing, and this allows time for the sugar to actually dissolve. While it's resting, I'm going to mix together my dry ingredients. And honestly, I really just wanted to use my tiny whisk. I add the flour in 2 parts. Now it's time to add in the chocolate. Mix, and let's get these babies on a tray. And then I pop them in the fridge for an hour. Both Babish and Tasty say that you can leave these in the fridge for a few days to let the flavour develop. It's been an hour, and now I'm going to bake these for 10 to 12 minutes at 180 degrees. And here they are. As you can see, they don't look like the cookies that you see in all the other videos. They kind of look like cakes gone wrong, like a very, very sad cake. The taste is good. The amount of sugar is perfect actually, especially as you get a hit of sweetness from the chocolate chips themselves. It doesn't really feel like you're eating a cookie. It looks and feels like cake in your mouth. I'm not happy with the cookies, so I'm trying again. This time I'm reducing the sugar by 30%. Apart from adding sweetness, it also gives structure and colour. Sometimes I feel like things are too sweet, and I'm questioning if all that sugar is really necessary, or have we just become accustomed to the taste? I love to bake, but having children and family members with diabetes, I've become a lot more aware of what we're putting into our bodies. I naturally started reducing the amount of sugar in my baking, and I'm hoping these videos will help someone else out there. Let's get real. We're not going to deprive ourselves of cookies, biscuits and cakes, but it's easy to take small steps and try to be a little healthier while remaining realistic and balanced in life. Okay, now look at these. They actually look like cookies. So this batch turned out good. They're crisp on the outside and chewy on the inside. So much better than my first batch. I have to say, if this was any more sweeter, I definitely wouldn't like it. Personally, I think my tastes have changed over the years, and I prefer the healthier cookies that are made with oats, almond flour, and nut butters. They just taste more wholesome and you don't feel so bad eating them. But in conclusion, if you do like baking the classic chocolate chip cookie, you can reduce the sugar by 30% and still get a great tasting cookie, whilst knowing it's still slightly better for you. Thanks for watching, and please remember to hit subscribe below